Welcome back to our live show. Local Richmond cake designer Michael Hall's back in our Virginia This Morning kitchen. Last time he was here, we certainly had a great time sampling his chocolate ganache cake. Today, he's taking us through the steps to make his gingerbread loaf cake. We welcome him back to our live show. It is great to see you, Michael. And you said this is an easy version.
This is a very easy version, very easy.
Because oftentimes, as Cheryl said at the beginning, we think of gingerbread more around holidays or maybe in the fall, so you might not make it all that often.
Right. But I mean, it could be eaten any time of the year. I mean, things these days, you know, they're preconceived to be whether it's holiday or normal. But this, I mean, this is any time of year cake.
Whatever floats your boat. You can have gingerbread whenever you want to.
Exactly. I mean, just like the cookies. So I mean, it's just a little bit bigger. I mean, but it's still a good recipe.
Well, it looks. I love doing like a little loaf cake because it's handy. It's doesn't seem mega complicated. It's not like a multi-layer. And this looks pretty simple. You're gonna take us through the steps?
Yes, I am.
All right.
We can get started right now. So first thing you do is you add in all the wet ingredients first. So right here I have oil and butter.
Okay.
I do oil and butter because the oil.
Wow.
Sorry.
Be cool. Have some gingerbread cake and calm down.
It slipped out my hand. The oil and butter makes really moist, and then you add in the egg. You just add in all the dry at the same time.
My heart rates up.
Wet at the same time.
I need some cake to calm down.
And the vanilla extract.
Okay.
And then the last thing you put in there is the sugar.
But you said all the wet ingredients.
Well,
still the sugar?
You still have to do the sugar because that gives it a different type of moistness with it. Okay. I'm gonna add the molasses in, but I'm gonna do this first.
Okay.
So you get that, start mixing, and it's gonna come together really quick.
Yes, it does. That's really handy. So there was pretty simple lineup. And that's it for this whole loaf pan or loaf cake? Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm gonna have the whole recipe online, and with that recipe, you can either do it one of three ways. You can do the loaf cake, you can do a bundt cake, or you can do a 2-layer cake.
Okay.
2 8 by 2 inch pans will get that done. So now I got that part running.
And that's really it, just creamed together beautifully. That looks nice.
Then this is molasses.
Okay.
And this is thick.
Do you have a favorite kind of molasses to use?
No, not really. I mean, this kind, I mean, I found to be, gives it the color, that rich brown color, plus the ingredients and the dry mixture. So trying to get all that out, but. Yeah.
And this is nice too, a good idea to make this anytime because it uses up that molasses. I always find that I buy like a jar of it, I make like a shoe fly pie in the fall and then I have it until next Christmas, right?
Yep, because I mean, a lot of people don't use molasses like that. It's just for certain things, but this is a good, easy recipe to do it, and anybody can do this.
Sometimes I put them in baked beans if I'm making baked beans in the summer.
Okay,
that's a good secret ingredient. Yeah. Well, that's pretty. That does have a beautiful color.
And it gives it a good color. The next thing you do is you go with half the dry ingredients.
Okay. What's in the dry?
The dry is flour. It's baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice.
Okay. Do you use an all-purpose flour, or can you get fancy and use like a whole wheat? Sometimes I try to sub it and then it comes out like a brick.
It all depends on how you, what your taste buds go for. So you can use all-purpose. I normally use all-purpose, not unless somebody tell me otherwise. Some people are gluten-free. You can use the gluten-free flour in here, or you can do like an almond flour. It all depends on what you like.
Do they behave the same way if you use a gluten-free or the almond?
If you use the gluten-free, it does. Now the almond is a little bit different. This is buttermilk.
Okay.
So
put that in. So you did dry, then buttermilk, and then we'll wrap with dry. And why the buttermilk?
Buttermilk gives it a different texture. It's more, because it has made like with the butter in it, it makes it more moist. To me, it does. I found like doing buttermilk on my cakes, gives a better consistency. It makes it more moister.
I keep some at the ready now because I like to make pancakes with it.
Yes. And the last thing, just put the rest of the dry ingredients in there.
Okay. Good stuff. So we're gonna wrap with the dry.
And that is it. And after you finish.
And you're being gentle with the mixing here in the dry to wet. It's not like mega mix.
So once you get it done.
All right, so that comes together. Now you mentioned I could do this with a loaf pan, a bundt pan.
Or regular, like a 2-layer, like if you got 2 8-inch pans or 2 9-inch by 8x2 or 9x2 pans, you can use any of that.
Okay.
So it all depends on how you want it. And this right here on it is a simple cream cheese, a lemon cream cheese glaze on it. You can use any type of icing you want. It all depends.
I spray my loaf pan, pour this in.
Yep.
And then bake it for?
I will only put, if you're gonna spray your loaf pan, you only put maybe about 3.5 cups of batter in it, because if you put too much, it's gonna overflow. You don't want it to do that.
Okay. And then you did a lemon cream cheese frosting. It looks delightful. Can I just like
you sure
cut a little nibble out of here? Michael,
sure
thank
can.
you. And you're gonna provide this recipe. Oh, good, Mr.
Thank you, Jess. That was very kind of you to cut me a piece.
I cut a petite piece that time.
So Grandma made this in a bundt cake, so you said we can do bundt, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Everything bundt the kitchen sink.
That was sweet.
We'll post this recipe on our show website by later this afternoon so you can try it out. I'll see what happens. You make bad jokes and you drop the cake. Visit WTBR.com/VTM. We're going to continue with the quality control. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, my pleasure.